Shifting focus now to a different story closer home. After India Today's relentless coverage, the CBI will now be moving the top court against Kuldeep Sengar's bail in the Unnao rape case. The central agency will challenge the Delhi High Court's order suspending the life sentence of former BJP MLA Kuldeep Singh Sengar in the 2017 rape case. Meanwhile, the survivor met leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi at 10 Janpath on Wednesday. Following the meeting, the Unnao rape survivor told India Today that both Sonia and Rahul were moved to tears after hearing her plight. She has also demanded that the child be moved to a Congress-ruled state, citing safety concerns. The survivor has also expressed a desire to meet the Prime Minister at this point and the President over this shocking judgment. This is the very case that we're speaking of, viewers. A judgment, a case, of course, that we've been following for years, but a judgment that recent times came in from the Delhi High Court and left the nation shocked and also questioning in terms of what sort of justice was this, as Kuldeep Singh Sengar was finally given bail in the Unnao rape case. And just post that, we've seen the survivor, the family members of the survivor, and activists, as well as the public out at large, in fact, supporting them and protesting against that very judgment that was delivered. They had even said that, yes, they will be moving Supreme Court with the very judgment and plead for justice further. In fact, they even said that they're okay being behind bars protesting for this judgment to be overlooked, to be looked at again, but justice shall be had. Right now, we have Nalini Sharma joining us on the broadcast with more details on this. Nalini, a very good morning to you. What more are you learning at this given point with the CBI now having said that they will be moving to the Supreme Court, to the topmost court of the country with this particular judgment?
Well, this is coming on expected lines because this has been stated even by the survivor's family earlier that they will be challenging the judgment before the Supreme Court, and that's exactly what the CBI has also said now. They said that they are in the process of studying the order of the Delhi High Court, and they have decided to file an SLP at the earliest. It's also important to remember that the Supreme Court is currently off for its winter vacations. So as to whether or not the Supreme Court will be able to take up the matter at the earliest is something that we still have to watch out for, and also how soon the CBI is going to move the Supreme Court. But along with that, it needs to be remembered that Kuldeep Singh Sengar has still not stepped out of jail because he's still in jail due to the 10 years that he is serving for the custodial death of the survivor's father in the very same case. So he's still not out of jail, so it's not urgent for the CBI to make sure that this SLP is filed at the earliest. It's more important for them to make sure that all the legal grounds are covered so that there is no scope of the Delhi High Court order being upheld before the Supreme Court once again.
Right, Nalini. Nalini, let's also understand one thing. The CBI saying that, yes, firstly, it was the survivors themselves who had said that they will move Supreme Court. Now the CBI taking cognizance and also saying that they will be challenging the very judgment in the topmost court. Let's also understand this from a legal perspective, what the judgment has been, the verdict that's been given by the High Court so far, and the conditions, or rather the basis on which that verdict was given for, in fact, granting bail to Kuldeep Sengar, and also how the CBI shall be proceeding forward if they do to challenge this in the Supreme Court. Let's also take a look at the legal perspective on this.
Well, the Delhi High Court judgment that was given by the two-judge bench that had essentially suspended his sentence, and because of his sentence being suspended is why he'd automatically got bail, was based on a mere technicality where the definition of public servant was very important. What the Delhi High Court said is that because the IPC and the CRPC and the Juvenile Justice Act do not define the word public servant, that means that POCSO Act, under which Kuldeep Singh Sengar has been convicted by the trial court, cannot derive its definition from any other legislation, which was what was done by the trial court when the definition of public servant was derived from the Prevention of Corruption Act. So the Delhi High Court said that because he does not qualify as a public servant, even though he is an MLA, he cannot be held guilty for aggravated sexual assault by a public servant, which is why his sentence needs to be suspended during the time that the larger appeal challenging his conviction is still pending before the Delhi High Court. So even though there's a temporary measure, it's a big setback to the survivor and her family who had constantly told the High Court about how they fear their lives and their safety and their security in case Kuldeep Singh Sengar is allowed out on bail or his sentence is suspended. Another important thing that the Delhi High Court said is that this mere suspicion for their safety being under threat cannot be the sole basis to keep somebody in custody, because this essentially casts aspersions on the police authorities that they are not doing their job properly. So that cannot be a reason to continue to hold somebody in custody, which is why the Delhi High Court went ahead and suspended the sentence. What remains to be seen now before the top court of the country is as to whether or not this definition of public servant, which the trial court has got from the Prevention of Corruption Act, but the High Court said should only be taken from the IPC and the CRPC. What the Supreme Court will decide in this case, whether it was fair for the trial court to convict Kuldeep Singh Sengar on the basis of a definition that was derived from the Prevention of
Right.
Corruption Act or not.
Right, Nalini. Thank you for bringing us bringing that into perspective for us in terms of how the legalities have worked out so far and what can we expect in the upcoming days.